My sister-in-law is adamant that their baby must not look like me, so my wife told her a rude joke. Now, she's uninviting my wife to their baby shower. I recently married the love of my life, and I'm super close with my brother. We always imagined our families being close too, until one lunch ruined everything. So, my wife and I went out to eat with my brother and my sister-in-law F31, who is pregnant and about to give birth to my first nephew. Needless to say, we are all very excited. Mid-meal, my brother, probably feeling sentimental, goes, "Man, I hope the baby turns out like Nathan. He was such a cute kid." Nathan is me. Now, a bit about my sister-in-law. She's usually nice, and I like him, but she's type A and a bit high maintenance. She shuts my brother down without missing a beat. "No, I'd much rather he turns out like you." A bit of an awkward comment, and my brother probably thought so as well, so he goes, "No, seriously, we'd be lucky if the kid was like Nathan. He was such a nice and cute kid." And then, sister-in-law doubles down. "No, but you're so much more handsome," before turning to look directly at me and adding, "No offense." Now, look, I wasn't deeply offended. My brother is very good looking, so I get it. But who just says that out loud? My wife, who had been quiet up to this point, clearly found it rude. So she jokingly goes, "Well, as long as the baby doesn't look like sister-in-law, we should be fine." I chuckled. My brother laughed. Sister-in-law did not laugh. She immediately got pissed, glared at my wife, and went, "What the hell does that mean? That's extremely rude. We're not close enough for jokes like that." My wife was taken aback, and so was I. My brother tried to say something, but she stormed out. My brother followed her, looking about as confused as I felt. Today, sister-in-law has officially disinvited my wife from the baby shower/celebration. My wife says she doesn't want to go, which is fair enough. My brother is devastated and wants me to be there. Now, here's the thing. My brother adores me. He's always been my biggest supporter and wants me to be a big part of my nephew's life. He's having his first child, and this moment is really important to him. I love my brother too and can't see him sad like that. He says my wife and sister-in-law need to apologize eventually, but we shouldn't force it, so we should give them some time to cool off. He also thinks sister-in-law owes me an apology for what she said, but again, pregnancy hormones or whatever, so he doesn't want to push it yet. My parents side with my wife and think sister-in-law was out of line first, but they also believe I shouldn't miss such a huge moment in my brother's life and that we should cut sister-in-law some slack because of her pregnancy. Here's my issue. I don't feel right going if my wife isn't welcome. I want to support her, but I know this moment means the world to my brother. If I go, my wife might feel abandoned. If I don't, my brother will be heartbroken. I feel completely stuck. Update. My wife is not a mean person. Given the situation's sensitivity, she made a joke in the moment, although I admit it wasn't a great joke. But she's one of the kindest, most caring people I know. That's one of the reasons I love her so much. I don't think my brother did anything wrong by bringing up the topic. We were reminiscing about childhood. He probably got nostalgic about having his little brother follow him everywhere. My brother and I resemble each other quite a bit, though he's better looking. And just to be clear, that doesn't mean I'm insecure. If anything, he's the outlier, one who naturally turns heads. Even when we were younger, he'd get random girls hitting on him wherever he went. It was such a running joke in our family that even my parents would tease him. The entire conversation lasted less than 5 minutes and escalated very quickly. I agree with the comments that we all should have handled the situation better, but it's easier to say that in hindsight. In real time, things just got out of hand very quickly. I am sure that we all regret what we said in the moment. Now for the actual update. I told my wife that I wouldn't go unless she were also invited. She immediately told me that she didn't want to be the reason I missed it and that I should go if I wanted to. She even said she'd be willing to apologize if my sister-in-law was open to it, but that she wouldn't attend even if re-invited because she'd feel uncomfortable. I told her I appreciated that, but for me, it was neither of us. Then I called my brother, and this is where I have to give him much credit because I know he was upset. He had wanted me there, and I could hear the disappointment in his voice. But instead of pushing, he just said, "I get it, man, don't worry about it." I know that wasn't easy for him to say. He had to balance keeping things calm with his wife while also wanting his brother by his side. But he didn't guilt trip me, didn't try to convince me otherwise. He just let me make my choice. He even said, "Don't worry, we'll save you guys some food, and I'll drop it off later." I offered to help with setup if he needed it, and told him to say I have COVID to avoid awkward questions. He just laughed and said, "Got it. You caught the world's shortest COVID, just long enough for the baby shower but miraculously recovered the next day." Now, here's where things got a bit more complicated. My mom was not happy with him for not sorting this out earlier. She felt like he should have stepped in and made peace before it got to the point where my wife was uninvited. But my parents didn't say anything directly because they didn't want to get involved in the drama. I think that weighed on him. He was already trying to navigate a tough situation, and now our parents were silently judging him, too. It put him in an impossible position, trying to be a good husband, a good brother, and a good son all at once. A couple of days passed with no further drama. Then something unexpected happened. My wife got a call from my sister-in-law. At first, my wife panicked, thinking she was about to get yelled at. But instead, they had a really good conversation. I overheard bits of it, including my wife saying, "No, you're gorgeous," which made me laugh a little. After the call, my wife told me that sister-in-law apologized first. She admitted that she'd been feeling self-conscious about her looks during pregnancy and that my wife's joke had hit a sore spot. A little later, my brother called me. He told me that he had gently talked to sister-in-law and helped her see that things had gotten out of hand. He also told me that knowing my wife was willing to apologize had made a huge difference. And then admitted something. He had wanted to fix things before the baby shower, but he knew his wife was already stressed. He didn't want to add more pressure on her while she was in the middle of planning. And honestly, I respect that. My sister-in-law needs everything perfect. Her look, my brother's look, the house, the decorations, etc. So I can understand the pressure she must have put on herself. And my brother knew that pushing her while she was stressed wouldn't have helped, so he waited. And after the event, when things calmed down, he quietly stepped in and fixed things. So, Where do things stand now? Things seem good on the surface. My wife and sister-in-law made peace, and my brother and I are fine. Given what she is going through, my wife and I have decided to be extra sensitive around sister-in-law. All in all, the situation seems to have brought us somewhat closer together. The real takeaway: I have an amazing wife, but her humor could use some work. Also, my brother ain't too bad. Side note, speaking of whom, my brother will probably never see this because he only uses Reddit for sports and news, but on the off chance he does, well, I guess I'm busted. But I'll admit something just this once since I have your attention. You are the best bro I could have asked for. That time you helped me for uni, I don't think you know how much it meant to me. And when I was at a low point, you stood by me. I don't think I've ever said it, but I've always appreciated that. Of course, I won't ever admit this in person and will forever deny I ever wrote this.